Hello, my friends. Welcome back to the Cool, Calm, Connected podcast, a quarterback's guide to life and peak performance, where we learn how to become the best version of ourselves together. I'm your host, James Brady, and you're listening to episode 5, Confidence. As always, I'd like to take a minute to help us become a little bit more present, a little bit more focused, a little bit more relaxed by taking a moment to connect to our breath. So if you'll join me, putting your feet flat in the ground, shoulders down and back, spine straight. We'll take a deep breath into the nose, a nice smooth exhale through the mouth, and we're going to do 3 of those together. Into the nose, out through the mouth, into the nose, out through the mouth. Last one, into the nose, out through the mouth. And just a reminder, everybody, our breath is our connection to the present. Every moment of every day is an opportunity to connect to our breath, get us out of our heads, into our bodies, back to where we are, right here, right now. Next, I'd like to express some gratitude. Just a simple mantra. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so, so grateful. I am so, so, so appreciative. So if you repeat after me, thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so, so grateful. I am so, so, so appreciative. Another reminder, great way to start the day. However it makes the most sense to you. Writing it down, repeating a mantra in your head, saying it out loud, looking yourself in the mirror. Any way that makes the most sense to you, find a way to express gratitude every single day. It helps to do it multiple times a day. Now, getting into today's episode, confidence. This might be the number one topic that young men in particular reach out to me about advice on. Coach, I'm struggling with my confidence. How do I build my confidence? I don't feel confident in myself. What are some things I can do? And that's why we're creating this episode, to first gain some clarity on what confidence actually is, so we know how we can work on it. And then putting some tools in place to do the work. Like anything, confidence, in my opinion, is a bit of a skill set. It is something that we can work on, that we can improve, that we can enhance by deepening our understanding of what it is and how we can work at it. Like anything, it's going to take some work. So first thing I'd like to do is just share a few definitions right from the dictionary. The first definition of confidence is a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. I'll read that again. A feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. Another little shorter one. Feeling sure of yourself and your abilities. And what I always like to come back to, it is your belief in your ability to accomplish a task, to do something successfully. And we're going to start really by honing in on that word, belief. I'm going to expand on it a little bit. I like to think of that word, belief, that a belief is simply a thought that you consistently think. I'll say that again. A belief is simply a thought you consistently think. That we think it so often, it becomes something we connect to, we attach to, and we believe about ourselves. So we're going to dive into a little bit the importance of self-talk, how we speak to ourselves, that internal dialogue. We've discussed it on some other podcasts, and we're doing it again because of how important it is and drawing some connections to everything that it's connected to. What we are thinking about ourselves all day, every day, that internal dialogue, that conversation, those consistent thought patterns will eventually create the beliefs that we have about ourselves. So if we are consistently thinking any types of thoughts connected to worry, doubt, fear, stress, anxiety. If that is part of our consistent internal dialogue, that in and of itself is negatively impacting our confidence, our own belief in our own ability. So that's where we're starting with today is self-talk, that internal dialogue, and just how important it is to how you think and feel about yourself. It is the number one thing that you are in control of all day, every day. It's what that voice in your head is saying, in particular about you. So that's what we want to attack first, is what is kind of the simplest thing that is in our control the most, and that's our self-talk and internal dialogue. And I want to bring it to this simple sentence right here. Stop listening to yourself talk shit about yourself. Start talking to yourself like you are the shit. If we want to be more confident, if we want to have more belief in our own abilities, we have to start thinking thoughts aligned with how we want to feel. And from my experience, personally, and from mentoring countless athletes over almost 2 decades, that's the root of the whole issue. What's going on in here? They allow that voice to consistently talk shit about themselves all day long, and they listen to it, and they're attaching to it, and it's eventually what they start to believe. So we don't want to, here's the tool, we don't want to listen to that voice in our head. We want to take control of it and decide the story that's being told, the thoughts that we are thinking, by talking to ourselves. And we talk to ourselves like we are the shit, like we are the man, like we are one confident mother. Okay, so that's the first tip or tool is stop listening to yourself talking shit about yourself. Start talking to yourself like you are the shit. Pay attention to what that voice in your head is saying. Your self-talk is directly in your control. If you want to increase your confidence, your self-esteem, your belief in your own abilities, we got to get what's going on in here right first. Most times I'm thinking about confidence. I'm pondering. I'm by myself and I'm thinking about this topic, this word. I always come back to this. Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? An age-old story, right? Which comes first, the chicken or the egg? Because if you think about confidence, right, our belief in our ability, in my opinion, too many people rely on a successful outcome to happen first to feel good about themselves. That would be the chicken coming first, the outcome, the end result needing to happen well or successfully in order for us to feel confident in our ability to do that. I think too many people operate that way. They need success in order to be able to feel good about themselves. When in all reality, I am convinced it is completely the other way around. It is the egg that comes first when it comes to confidence. Meaning it is the work and the preparation to create the belief in our own ability, to create that self-esteem, to create that confidence. Because if we're coming from a place of confidence in our ability to accomplish a task, we give ourselves a better chance to perform that task successfully more consistently. So I think about that a lot, chicken, egg. When it comes to confidence, I really believe it is the egg that comes first. It is the preparation, the work, the nurturing, the putting the tools in place, the making of the adjustments so that we can create the outcomes that we want more consistently. I just want to get on the same page there that, you know, from my experience, too many people rely on a positive outcome to feel good about themselves. And if we go into a competitive environment, a game, a practice, whatever the case may be, coming from a place, even if it's just a little bit of worry, doubt, and fear, that's decreasing our chances to perform well. And now, if we're relying on our performance to determine how we feel about ourselves, and we don't perform well, what is that doing to our confidence and our self-esteem? It is decreasing it. So this is where we want to create the confidence and belief first, and not rely on the external outcome in order to feel good about ourselves. So which comes first, the chicken or the egg? I believe the egg. And that's kind of the baseline that we want to continue on and build on top of. And when we're talking about the egg, I think the most simple thing is doing the work. If you're practicing, training, doing the work consistently over time, I think that is the easiest and simplest way to build your confidence, your belief in your ability to do something. It's just the simplest way to work at it, put effort towards it consistently, because then you know you're prepared. That is the simplest way to build your confidence, is by doing the work. I like to say consistency creates comfort, and comfort creates confidence. If we are not putting in work consistently, we're not going to be comfortable in a competitive environment where we need to perform. And if we're not comfortable, we most certainly will not be confident. So do the work consistently over an extended period of time. The more consistent effort you put forth, the more comfortable you're going to be, and the more confident you're going to be doing that task, whatever environment that's in. So keep it simple, do the work, whatever that work looks like. I know in our quarterback development operation, more often than not, what I'm encouraging the quarterbacks to do is actually pretty easy, simple. Getting in the mirror, working on the details of their throwing motion, the details of their drops or their movements, 30% speed, under control, 5 to 10 minutes. It's easy, it's doable, it's repeatable, because if they actually do 5 minutes a night over and over and over and over and over, not only will the physical fundamentals improve, which is the primary objective with that work, especially working to make changes to the throwing motion, you need a lot of reps. It is, by nature, increasing their confidence and their belief because they know they're working towards it. So keep it simple, do the work. Now some more nuanced tools and insights into confidence. A lot of these things are things that I've learned personally over the years by not doing them well, finding answers and figuring out what can I do to keep increasing my confidence and my belief in myself and keep bettering myself. And this is probably the most powerful one, I think, when it comes to confidence. Do what you say you're going to do, especially when you don't feel like it. Do what you say you're going to do, especially when you don't feel like it. From my experience, personally, and with countless athletes over the years, I've developed a belief system that the easiest way to destroy your confidence and belief in yourself and your abilities is to consistently break the promises you make to yourself, telling yourself you're going to do something and then you don't do it. Every time you do that, tell yourself, okay, I'm going to get in the mirror for 10 minutes tonight and work on getting my front foot down faster. Okay. Well, now it comes time to do that, and you don't do it. You're going to be going to bed at night, and whether you want it to or not, whether you know it or not, that voice in your head somewhere in there, it's going to be saying, hey, man, you said you were going to do something, and you didn't. You're breaking a promise to yourself. And if we just bring confidence back to that definition of our belief in our ability to accomplish a task, if we're creating tasks for ourselves and we're not doing them, we're quite literally decreasing our belief in our ability to accomplish a task. It's that simple. So do what you say you're going to do, especially when you don't feel like it. There's going to be countless times when you have a plan in place, it's time to do the work. And you just don't feel like it. You've had a long day. You're tired. Maybe you're sore, whatever the case may be. Every time those situations arise, you're being given an opportunity to step forward into growth or step backwards into comfort. And every time you step backwards into comfort, you don't do what you say you're going to do. You're taking a vote towards who you say it is you want to be and who it is you want to become and what it is you want to achieve. Every time you are a little uncomfortable, you really don't want to, your energy's low, you're tired, every time you push through that struggle and do it anyway, I think that's like an accelerant. That's like taking gasoline to fire for your confidence. I have this belief system as well about doing what we say we're going to do, and the work is that the more aligned the work is with our mission, with our purpose, with our goals and our dreams, usually the more resistance we're going to experience around it. Meaning the less we're actually going to want to and feel like doing it all the time. You can think of the resistance as an invitation to do the work. That energy pops up, those thoughts pop up like, man, I just don't feel like it today. That's resistance. If we can train ourselves to view the resistance as an invitation, once that voice arises, I don't feel like it today. Ooh, that's my invitation to get after it. Because I can tell you from practicing this for years, every time you accept that invitation, and even though you might not feel great in the moment as you get started, once you get started, it's like an accelerant that just shoots you forward, and all of a sudden, you feel yourself level up. You feel better about yourself, which is increasing your confidence and your self-esteem. So these are all kind of like Jedi mind tricks on how to actually do what we say we're going to do, especially when we don't feel like it. View the resistance as an invitation. Okay, some simple tools to put in place. Plan in advance. If it's arbitrary what work you're going to do, when you're going to do it, meaning it's random and you don't have a plan in place, it's going to be very easy to skip the work, to not do the work, because there's no regiment, there's no routine, there's no plan or structure to follow. The purpose of the plan or the structure is to make it easy to do the work. It's human nature when given the decision, right? Say it's Monday and you just tell yourself, I want to do something today to work on my craft. Okay, I'm going to do something. All right, well, now some free time rolls around. What am I going to do? What do I want to do? What do I feel like doing? What would be best to do? What drills should I do? What should I go to the gym? Should I work on my schoolwork? Should I get in the mirror? All of those decisions that need to be made in the moment are simply deterrents to doing the work. You want to make all of your decisions beforehand so that there's no decisions to make and it's a seamless path to doing the work. I'll use myself as an example. Going to the gym. My workouts for the week are predetermined. What day I'm going, what time I'm going, the lifts, the exercises, the sets, the weights, in my notes, in my iPhone, and I do that on Sunday evenings. So that come Monday, there's no decision to be made. I know what time I'm going. I know exactly what I'm doing. The plan is in place, and it makes it easier to do. If I had no plan in place, it would be really easy. You know what? I just don't feel like it today. When the plan is in place, trust me, it makes the work easier to do. And when you do what you say you're going to do, you're pouring gasoline on the fire to your confidence. Another small trick is to start small. I've talked about it in previous podcasts. Start small. Make the work easy to do so that you build the habit of doing the work consistently. There's no replacement. Consistent work, consistent effort over an extended period of time. It will, yes, enhance your skills and your abilities, but more than anything, doing the work consistently over time is the number one way to enhance our confidence and our belief in ourselves. So whatever it is that you're working on, start small, make it easy to do so that we practice consistently over time, which will inherently increase your confidence. Next, Do hard things. Do hard things. You just want to prove to yourself that even though something is hard, even though that it is challenging, you still have the belief in yourself to attack it, regardless of how difficult it is, especially because it's difficult. When you do things that are hard and you take action towards them, you're proving to yourself that you have the mental toughness. You have the ability to do hard things, so that when hard things arise, you believe in your ability to accomplish those hard tasks, meaning you are more confident in yourself to do those hard things. If you're living this life of comfort, which is easy to do nowadays, most of us are blessed. We're fortunate to have a roof over our heads, people that care about us and support us. We have food to eat. We have everything we need. And because of that, it gets easy to be comfortable. It gets easy to be complacent. So we kind of have to set up challenges for ourselves, difficult circumstances for ourselves to push through, to create some discomfort, to create some challenge and struggle in our lives. So that's just what I want to shine a light on next, is if we are too too comfortable in our overall living, it is not going to help us believe in ourselves the most to be able to accomplish a task. So just do hard things. It's as simple as when you're in the gym, pick that one exercise you just hate doing. I have a list of them. And this is when I do make some in the moment decisions at the gym. Before I leave, I always pick one of those exercises that I just do not want to do. I never want to do them. I don't like them. I don't enjoy them. I've learned that over the years, but before I leave, I always do at least one set of one exercise I do not want to do, because it's hard and I don't want to do it. I'm proving to myself that I can do hard things, which is increasing my belief in my ability to accomplish a task even when they're hard. It's all connected. A simple trick you can put into place is when you're taking a shower. The last 30 seconds, turn the knob and put the water as cold as possible. And you stand under the cold water and you breathe through it. There's a lot of benefits to cold therapy, but for this in particular, building our confidence and our belief, doing hard things, it's a very simple, easy thing to do. Turn the knob, make it cold. It's hard to stand there, remain still, focus on your breath when you are freezing cold. It's just a hard physical thing to do, but it's simple to add into your daily life. So that's just something I've been doing for years now. I don't end the shower without turning the nozzle to as cold as it can possibly go. It's just another small thing inserted into my day that you can insert into your day that creates a little discomfort, creates a bit of a challenge physically and mentally for you to persevere through, so that you in that moment are choosing to do something that's hard, to prove to yourself you can do things that are hard, to increase your belief in your ability to do things, especially when they're hard. Next, I want to discuss controlling what's in our control. It's kind of a cliche in the mindset space and development space. And cliches are cliches for a reason. They're tested and they're true. And especially when it comes to confidence, we want to practice controlling what's in our control. Give you a little process and really explain why. Simple process to practice controlling what's in your control. Anytime a circumstance arises, ask yourself, is this in my control? If it's not, let it go. Stop thinking about it. Stop harping on it. Bringing back to the definition of our ability to accomplish a task, if something is not in your control and you keep trying to control it and do it, even when you can't, that is a surefire way to decrease your belief in your ability to accomplish a task, because you're trying to take on tasks that you just can't perform. It's out of your control to take action on it. And we harp on those things over and over and over again. So inherently, it's like, okay, here's this thing that I just want to attack it. I want to do it, but it's just out of your control. It's just not possible to actually do that thing. And you're harping on it over and over again. You're just creating this environment and situation internally where you're decreasing your belief in your ability to get things done because you're thinking about things that you can't get done. And that's what you're harping on. And it's an odd paradox, but I just see people, so many people, live their lives that way. They are in such need for control over things that, especially when things are not in their control, they harp on it and they think about it and they're talking about it all the time and they're venting and it's all they can think about and talk about. Well, it always comes back to, well, can you do anything about it? No. Okay, so why are we still talking about this a week later, right? Like, so very simply put, identify if something is in your control. If it's not, let it go. Stop thinking about it. Stop harping on it, because that's a surefire way to decrease your confidence in your belief and ability to accomplish a task successfully, because it's not in your power or control to take action on it and accomplish it. So we ask ourselves this question, is this in my control? If it is, take consistent aligned action. That's the answer. Do the work. Control what's in your control. Do what is in front of you. Do what you're capable of doing in the moment to take action towards accomplishing that task. So coming back again to the definition, one of the definitions of confidence, as a feeling of self-assurance arising from one's appreciation of one's own abilities or qualities. A feeling of self-assurance arising, being created from one's appreciation, from your appreciation, recognition, understanding of your own abilities and or qualities. Here's the next trick or tool to increase your confidence. Focus on what you're doing well. Focus on what you're doing well so that you can appreciate what you're doing well. You recognize how well you're doing. There's a phrase I say all the time to our quarterbacks. It's stop and smell the roses. A huge part of the development process is being able to recognize when we're making progress, when we are doing well. And it's something I set the intention for every single time I'm taking the field with a group of athletes. It's look for opportunities in what they're doing, in their movements, in their throws, in their fundamentals, in their attitude, in their energy. Look for opportunities to highlight their progress. Because especially at this position, quarterback position, we have to be borderline cocky. We have to believe in ourselves to the nth degree. We have to be our own best advocate to play this position very, 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 very well. Borderline cocky, meaning we believe we're the baddest mother out there. So from my vantage point, it's obvious to see when someone is lacking some belief, and forget about any fundamentals, anything thrown in motion, forget about any of that. If there's confidence and belief in an athlete missing, that's my first priority, is to help them instill it. And that's something you can do for yourself. Be your own best coach. When you do something that feels good, when you see a positive result, appreciate it. Give yourself a pat on the back. Recognize it. Because the more consistently you recognize it, the more you genuinely appreciate the work you're doing, the progress you're making, the more real your confidence is going to become. Here's a really simple way every day to practice focusing on what you're doing well. Simple journaling practice. It's this simple. What went well today? Write it down. What went well today? What happened throughout the day that went well? Where I showed up how I wanted to show up. Where I performed how I wanted to perform. Where I gave the effort that I wanted to give. What went well today? And by doing that every single day, every single night, over and over and over, you're recognizing and appreciating how well you're doing and all the good things that are happening, which inherently, by its definition, will increase your confidence in yourself by increasing and enhancing your belief in your ability to get things done. As well as what went well today, I like to write three things I'm proud of myself for. It's for the same exact reason, which is another way to word it. 3 things that you are doing, that you did, focusing 100% on yourself and your thoughts, your words, your actions, how you're living your life. 3 things every day that you're proud of yourself for. You keep highlighting those over and over and over again, I promise you, your confidence, your self-esteem, your belief in your own abilities will increase. And this is the work. Simple journaling practice. What went well today? 3 things you're proud of yourself for. Touch on this really, really quickly. I've mentioned this multiple times in different podcasts because it is so important. But when it comes to confidence, something we have to address is in our field, whether that is athletics, academics, whatever, the arts, stop viewing mistakes as a reflection of your ability. Stop making the outcome, especially when it doesn't go your way, stop making it personal. Stop taking it personally. Stop viewing your mistakes as a reflection of your ability. That is a surefire way, every time you make a mistake, seeing that as a reflection of your ability. Because if the outcome or result isn't what you want or is negative, and that's what you're relying on to determine what you think and feel about yourself, every time you make a mistake, that's going to negatively impact your confidence, your self-esteem, and your belief in yourself. So stop viewing mistakes as a reflection of your ability and simply begin to choose seeing them as opportunities to learn and grow. I've talked about it in length in other podcasts, so I wanted to add that in there because it's directly tied to confidence and our belief in ourselves. But we really have to practice viewing mistakes as opportunities to learn and grow. Okay, so now some more little nuanced things. These are things that I do. I've put into place. Some I've learned elsewhere, and some have kind of just popped up into my awareness, and I practice them, and they work. A little more nuanced, but just things you can include in your day if you're looking to increase and enhance your confidence, your belief in yourself. Here's some extra things I would suggest. Accept and appreciate compliments. For a very long time in my life, in an attempt to be humble, anytime somebody would share a compliment with me, I'd kind of downplay it. But no, it was them, it was whatever. Like, there's benefit to being humble and giving others credit when it's due. But when we're talking about confidence and our belief in ourselves, if we're receiving words of affirmation and compliments from someone, let's take it and use it. Right? Let's receive it. Let's accept it. Let's appreciate it. So I've put a simple practice in place. If somebody compliments me, I take a second. I literally breathe for a second, allow myself to receive it, feel that energy of the compliment coming, and really expressing gratitude. Thank you so much. You know what? I'm really glad you shared that. I'm so happy to see that you noticed that. I've been working so hard at that. And it's cool to see that you're appreciating the growth that I'm making there. Like, dive into the compliment and reciprocate with, I'm so glad you recognize that because I'm earning that. So don't downplay compliments. Accept them and appreciate them. Be humble, yes. This is what I'd say. We want to be externally humble. But we want to be internally borderline cocky. So when someone sends you a compliment, share something nice about yourself, receive it, accept it, appreciate it. Another trick I share with quarterbacks, especially in season, is watching your highlights. See yourself performing well consistently. If we want to believe in our ability to accomplish a task more, we want to enhance or increase our confidence in our belief, let's watch ourselves doing it successfully. If you have good film to watch, highlight clips, clips from training or practice. See yourself doing what you want to be more confident at. Watch yourself doing it successfully over and over and over again. Can't emphasize that enough, especially in season. And visualizing it. Now, we watch it on a screen or whatever, but create that movie or that highlight in your head. So I genuinely believe that everything happens twice. First in our minds and then in our realities. So if we want to be more confident and we want to see ourselves performing successfully, we can close our eyes and imagine it. There's so much power to a consistent visualization practice. Just envisioning yourself doing something successfully over and over and over again. Here's something very interesting I learned from Dr. Joe Dispenza is that our mind doesn't know the difference between something happening in our physical reality or if we just envision it in our minds. So if we want to be more confident in our abilities to play quarterback, to play basketball, to play an instrument, whatever it is, we can create the emotion and the energy of confidence, what it feels like to be confident at doing something simply by visualizing ourselves doing it successfully. So that is a trick I'd suggest putting into place every night before you go to bed. Close your eyes, focus on your breath, and just see yourself doing what you want to do, how you want to do it. And the more consistently you do that, the more aligned you're becoming with that energy of being that person. So put a consistent visualization practice in place when you go to bed. Next, what I like to call power posture. Power posture is literally just putting our joints into alignment. It's pulling the shoulders down and back, tucking the tailbone, spine straight, and it's like taking up space where we're at, right? How often all of us, we spend our days here, even here on the podcast. I know I'm getting a little hunched over, right? But when we open up our bodies, yes, it creates space for energy to flow, but the message that our body is sending to our brain is like, hey, I am here. I am fully present in my body, and I am not afraid to show anyone who I am or what I'm about. This is me. When we are hunched over, eyes down, the message that our body is sending to our brain is like, well, I'm hiding. I don't want anybody to see me here. I don't want anybody to know I'm doing this. Just by consistently working on your posture, whether you know it or not, kind of subconsciously, you're practicing having your body send the message to your brain is like, yeah, I'm here. I'm good. I feel confident in this body. And because of that, I'm open and wide. So the way I practice is two ways. Anytime I walk through a door, you'd be surprised how many doors you walk through in a day, I check in with my posture. I pull my shoulders down and back, just lift my chin up, and I just try to widen and take up a little bit more space. I do the same exact thing every time I see my reflection. If I'm seeing my reflection in the window of a car or a door as I'm walking into Starbucks or the gym or whatever, I just take that as an opportunity. I see myself. How do I want to see myself? I want to see myself as a confident-ass mother. Some guy's like, oh, who's that guy? And I just use every time I walk through a door and every time I see my reflection as an opportunity to check in with myself, open up, take up space, get my body into alignment, get energy flowing, and send the message to my brain that I'm the best version of me, and there's no one else I'd rather be. Last thing I would suggest when it comes to confidence, something that definitely plays a role, is comparing. And I think we all have something in our pockets, probably right, we're probably watching this on our phones, and inside those phones are apps that are just, they are comparing mechanisms. What's happening on social media is everyone is putting out their best, right? And that's cool. I think that if there are good things happening, you're highlighting them and showing them, awesome. The downside of it is when every time we are viewing someone's posts, whoever it is, all these different people, countless people, it's harmful for a lot of reasons, but especially when it comes to our confidence. If we are consistently taking in people that are doing things that we want to be doing that we're not doing, they have things that we want to have that we don't have. They're with people that we want to be with that we're not with. Whatever it is, we are putting ourselves down. We're lifting them up and putting ourselves down. So social media is a comparison trap. Even subconsciously, you might not even know you're doing it, but I promise you, if you're following the wrong things and taking in the wrong input, it's almost impossible not to compare. We are the only thing that we are in control of. What we think, what we speak, how we behave. We cannot control what anybody else is doing. We have zero impact on anybody else's thoughts, words, behaviors, and decisions. So by comparing, we are inherently creating these circumstances where we're taking the control out of our hands. We're disempowering ourselves by focusing on others and things that we don't have, things that we're not doing, things that we're not achieving, people that we're not hanging out with, money we don't have, houses that we don't, all these things. So what I'd suggest is a consistent social media cleanse. Anytime you encounter a post on social media, check in with it quick. Is this someone I learn from? Is this someone that I love and support? Is this something that is beneficial to me? Is it inspirational, motivational, educational? Some entertaining stuff, sure. And most importantly, am I comparing myself to this person? Do I feel less about me because I keep seeing their things? If, for whatever reason, you feel like you're comparing yourself to another, when you come across their posts, mute their posts, unfollow them. Empower yourself to take your control back. Social media can be a great tool if you use it properly. If you open up my Instagram, I don't do a lot of scrolling. I do occasionally. I know that I'm getting good stuff from it because the way I intentionally use the app, people I've unfollowed and muted, things that I engage with, whatever you engage with, you're going to get more of. I make sure that it's things that are going to help me. They're going to help me learn. They're inspirational, they're motivational, they're educational, some slightly entertaining stuff that's just for pure entertainment. But over time, I have intentionally chosen to eliminate things that make me feel less about myself, and I engage with things that I want to receive more of, so that if I am on the app, it is a tool that is supporting my growth, which is supporting my dreams and aspirations and everything that I want. So be mindful on social media. Especially if you notice yourself comparing yourself to certain individuals, unfollow, mute, block, whatever you want to do. But I'd highly suggest we start putting something in place to use social media a little bit more intentionally, and I call that a social media cleanse. You can do a blocked out 1 hour. I'm going to sit down for 1 hour and I'm going to clean up my Instagram. I've done that, but what I found is even better. Anytime you are scrolling through something, if you come across something, I don't like the vibe of that, block, mute, unfollow. It takes the same amount of time as clicking the like button. Okay? You can clean up your social media a little bit every single day. Choose what you engage with, and you'll just eventually be receiving more of that, so that you are using social media as a tool and it's not a roadblock or something that is impacting you negatively, especially about your thoughts about yourself, your beliefs about yourself, and your feelings about yourself. So this is all things confidence. These are the things that I think about when we talk about this topic, confidence. Bunch of different directions, went on a few tangents, but that's why we're here. Sharing what I think, sharing what I've learned from my experiences. And confidence, it's a tricky thing because it's almost 100% internal. It's an inside job. So these are all tools and insights I've experienced and learned about over the years that I've put into practice myself, that I found to either negatively impact my confidence, my self-esteem, my belief in myself, or help it grow. So if
your confidence is something you think can use some work, hopefully some things were shared here today that you found helpful and beneficial. As always, thank you so much for listening. Please engage with the content, like, comment, share, subscribe. If there's anyone out there you think would benefit from hearing these messages, please take a moment to share the podcast with them. I'll keep cutting it up, putting out little bits at a time. But the more people that we can get this shared to, the better. My only objective, as always, is to make as much of a positive, powerful impact for as many individuals as possible. And I know that I can't do it alone. So thank you for listening. Thank you for your help spreading the good word. I look forward to doing this each and every week. Anything I can ever do, never hesitate to reach out. Socials, QB Coach Brady, Instagram, TikTok, X or Twitter. Never hesitate to reach out. Happy to support your dreams, your goals, your aspirations any way I can. Peace and love, everybody. Be kind to one another. I'll catch you next week.